All right, so let's take a look at your build here. This is your Salem build. Now, it's a clan battle, but in general, I mean, clan battle or randoms, I would say the build is pretty much going to be the same.
I do have
Survivability
Halsey
taken is.
as my captain on for this one.
Okay. So let's see. So modules or upgrades, whatever. You don't want to lose your engines. Makes perfect sense. Um, you know, aiming makes sense. Propulsion makes sense. Concealment makes sense. And main battery mod 3 for, you know, you're buffing your...
Faster DPM.
Yeah, that makes sense too. Just like a Des Moines, very similar. Um, you could do range. I don't think it's as useful though.
Yeah, I did have range earlier, but I switched to reload because I noticed I wasn't really getting much opportunities for cross shots. So
Mm-hmm.
I just took the reload for fighting in close quarters.
Right. Now, you've taken radar. You could, in slot 2, pick up surveillance radar instead of, you know, it basically risks your engine and rudder being incapacitated more, but it does buff your radar by 20% in terms of action time. That being said,
I was going to, but I've been saving my coal for the Brisbane for that to release, so I didn't want to spend my coal on the radar mod since my coupon has been used up on an engine boost mod.
very okay. Hey, that's perfectly fair. The thing I was going to mention is that thing about the radar on the ship is that one, I like to call it T-Rex radar because it only reaches out to 8.5 kilometer, and two, it's only 44 seconds long, and that's assuming you're taking consumables enhancements, which you are. So buffing the duration will help you, but I don't know that it's going to give you a ton of use
You know
compared
what
to a Des
got me?
Moines or something.
Well, the Moines radar recently got nerfed to like 35 seconds duration base.
That's right, it did, didn't it?
Yeah, the Salem kept the duration still.
Right. So I guess actually it's more worthwhile than a Des Moines now, which is kind of crazy to think about. Huh. Okay. But, you know, Moskva still exists. Anyway, moving right along. So you've got Halsey, so you're using Gun Feeder because it's a buffed, or sorry, grease the gears because it's a buffed reverse speed there. And then you're using Gun Feeder, that's obviously buffed as well. Increased action time for your consumables. Why not? That's especially good for, what was I was going to say? Oh, that's good for your radar. Never mind. You got Superintendent for an extra heal. You've
And an
got
extra
Concealment.
radar.
Yes, and an extra radar. Thank you. You've got Concealment Expert, which I mean that's a given, right? You've
Yeah.
got Adrenaline Rush, that makes sense. This ship lives on AP, so heavy AP, sure, makes sense. Why not do 5% more damage if you're slinging almost all AP? Top grade gunner as well, so that as you are, as enemies are within your standard detection, you get a buff to reload time of 8%. So that synergizes really well with the reload mod. Alternately, you could go Survivability Expert, gives you more HP, then you can heal back with your super heal. But
I did have it originally, but then I respec'd it and took heavy AP.
yeah,
I have to remember this is also my Alaska captain. Pretty much all my American heavy cruiser captains.
yep. And that's the other thing to consider too. If you're using somebody like Halsey, you're probably going to whore him out on multiple ships, so it makes perfect sense for you to want to, you know, have kind of a standardized build going. So that's fair.
And as for running Salem in clan battle, with the lineup we were doing, we were already running some longer range radar,
Mhm.
and we sent the shorter range radar to the cap, where the shorter range radar can actually get in there and actually be able to use it if needed.
Yeah. Okay, and then flags. I mean, this is all what you would run in a clan battle setup. So fire chance. If you're using HE, obviously it helps. I guess technically it buffs your secondaries too. Ramming,
Just
no
in case.
detonation. Mm-hmm. Now, why are you running this one?
That one I don't know why, man. I just hit auto mount and just didn't
Okay.
realize it mounted that one.
The reason I'm bringing that up, guys, if this is a Des Moines, makes sense because it's a Salem. You can only choose between radar or hydro. So all you did was buff your anti-air, which clan battles no carriers, so there's no need for that.
The only other planes we run into is good and blue bombers.
And the random spotting plane ASW planes, which don't really matter
Yeah.
too much anyways. All right, sure. Buffed your heal, buffed your ship speed, and then buffed your consumable reload. Yeah, all good stuff there. Makes sense. All right, let's drop the build viewer. Let's get into the replay then. And if I remember right, you are the caller for this team, correct?
Not usually not, but I did shot call this battle.
Okay.
Because no one else wanted to do it, so I decided to step up to do it.
All right. So because this is a clan battle, guys, we typically zoom back from the action. Pockington, feel free to tell me to pause at any moment.
Yep.
All that kind of stuff, because we're looking at a more holistic view. This is CR versus ACMPT. What rank is this? Do you remember?
This is Gale.
Gale. Okay. So you've got a Shikishima, Montana, you and the Salem, double Masva, Kleber, and Yu Yang. So it's a very flexible composition, especially with your Yu Yang and Kleber.
Yeah, and the Yu Yang is our radar Yu Yang.
I was just going to ask you about that. Okay. Montana, very flexible battleship. Shikishima, obviously, just demolishes cruisers and other battleships. Masvas make sense having two of them. You can put them in one place and another. You have to go get food at this moment, huh?
Yeah, I sent the Yu Yang, the Mas of the Shiki to anchor down B side, and I sent the Kleber to try to quickly take A if he could, with the Montana providing firing support over A side.
Gotcha. Elusive, hi. Sorry, go ahead.
So, the Masvas, well, honestly, with my clan, we try to put people in the ships they feel most comfortable in. We don't want to force them to take a ship that they don't know how to use. Because then, if they don't know how to use it properly, then what's the point of them having a ship if that's good?
And Moskva is a very comfortable ship, especially for newer players, because of the icebreaker bow and that sort of thing. As long as you can point the bow at the enemy and incoming fire, you're fine. Also, I want to say, Matthew, I saw your comment. Thank you. I'm glad that GP and I were able to give you some really good feedback in your battles there. Thanks for watching. And the games were a lot of fun, Spider. All right, so this is a small map, like you had mentioned. You're putting the Kleber at A early on. Makes perfect sense because they only have a gearing. They do have a lot of radar. They got Des Moines, Moskva, Nevsky, Petro. Oh, and the gearing looks like he's using 10.5s. That's interesting.
I didn't even notice that at the current moment. I thought he was running the 16s.
Yeah, it could be my mod as well, being stupid there, but... I like this formation, though, over here. And I don't know if this was intentional, but it looks sexy as hell. Two Masvas flanking, a Shikishima behind it, with a Yu Yang out in front for spotting and torping. I love it.
Yeah, no, we sent the Yu Yang over to the 10 line and just try to flank him.
Your Kleber got spotted, backed off immediately. Smart.
Yep. And you can see me slowly, yeah, little ships sinking to the crevice between the two islands.
Yes. On the replays, the player ship doesn't show up, guys, so there he is right there in that channel. That's a very risky open position.
Yeah, I was worried about crossfire from seaside, so if you were actually on my camera view, you would notice I frequently moved my mouse over to see the Shikishima to make sure he was aiming at me.
That's very smart.
And also, I saw the Des shoot or at least I thought it was the Des at the time, shoot the Kleber, so I was waiting to see if you shoot again and try to blind fire over the island.
The reason I'm concerned about this particular position is you were spotted going into it on the radar. So the enemy knows you're there. And if you stay there, the Shikishima could try to get shots on that particular spot.
Unfortunately, the entire time the Shikishima just completely ignored me until the very end.
Well, I mean, it's very easy to stay focused on your side. Yu Yang spotted, radared, in trouble, playing way too aggressively early.
He got cut out and got slapped.
The ship is on fire. And SAT does bring up a good point, too. If you've got 2 Moskvas working with the Yu Yang, that's enough radar. You could probably use smoke for the Yu Yang instead. It's a fair point.
Also, that DD player specifically, he's used to playing DDs without smoke. His first DD line was the Holland.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
So he's not used to using smokes.
Okay.
And this is where I thought I was gonna die. His quad fire immediately, and I was getting chunked by the Schlieffen.
Yeah, I see that. Just taking a look at the other flank for a little bit. They're doing what they should be doing. The Moskva's digging in. The other one's digging in. Gearing is detected in the backfield. That's a problem.
Yeah, I told dude Moskva right there on the island, the closer one, to watch out for the gearing. And he did rotate his turrets, but I don't remember if he actually shot at him or not.
Okay. So this is what I was talking about now. You're in a world of hurt without much to, do to get out of it other than what you're doing, which is forward, backward, forward, backward, forward.
Yeah. Just trying to minimize the shells incoming from the Des.
And you have to hope. I see that. You have to hope that your Montana is going to just punch him in the face. Yes, rock the baby ship.
Looking over to the Shiki again to make sure he's not looking at me to pop me.
Yep. And that's also a good point, SAT. He could always just run the Holland in clan battles. Or, if he's got a small end, even better, right?
He's been trying to get the small end from Christmas containers. That's not worked in his favor.
Ah. Now, do you have a shot on the gearing? No. Okay.
I was going to take a shot at the gearing, but for some reason I hesitated at the moment, but it didn't really impact much once he gets spotted again.
You are extremely lucky that nobody is shooting you right now, except for the Nevsky.
Yeah, no. I was thinking of this, like, I'm just going to reverse and hopefully no one looks at me. But I'm honestly surprised no one did look at me.
Yeah, because reversing out right now, like, that opens you up to so many more shots. So, as soon as you were radared, I probably would have tried to dive the island instead of continuing to back up like you are. But, hey, anything can and will happen in World of Warships.
I was ignored, so I just took it.
How about your Montana just charging this Des Moines bow in?
I don't know what was going on at that moment, but they just were trying to push the Des Moines back, but it doesn't end up working, because later you'll see the Des Moines actually tries to ram them.
Well, the big question is, where's the Schlieffen? We haven't seen the Schlieffen in a long time. Oh, the gearing is on the Moskva's rear now.
Yeah, the Moskva's forced broadside outwards, unfortunately, but the gearing does go down. I don't remember if the Moskva dies or not.
Now your Yu Yang is detected again.
Also, I was running Salem because we needed another radar cruiser, and I'm not used to the Salem or Des Moines at all. I got the Salem during Christmas, and I just kind of held on to it. I never really used it until now.
Okay. And SAT, you're absolutely right. I mean, you warned the Moskva before about that gearing.
Yeah, I was constantly reminding him, hey, watch out for the gearing, watch out for the gearing.
And he's going to have Hydro, and he's going to have Radar, so he should have been cycling those consumables. Broadside to the Des Moines. Oof.
And here's where the Montana site tries to disengage, but the Des Moines just go barely towards for the rush.
And this is the part where you have to pop out an APM now.
Yep, that's exactly what happens. That's when I realized I had to send it full gear.
Yep. Unfortunately, though, in the process, you might end up dying, so you have to be cognizant of where everybody else is. Schlieffen got spotted, fortunately behind the island from you. Nice citadel.
Yep.
This is going to save your Montana's bacon right here.
Yep. The Montana was laughing during this, just having no idea what was going on.
You are very fortunate that the Schlieffen is behind the island. And the Nevsky, too, for that matter.
Yep. So I took this opportunity, and now that I'm in the cap, I may as well just try to get closer to their island.
Yep. And I completely agree with you, SAT. Why didn't he just hit W? Especially with the Montana defensive right there, that was a really good opportunity for that Schlieffen to push.
feel like the
Um,
Schlieffen was scared of the Kleber probably torping, not knowing the Kleber was holding in the back.
mhm. It's a possibility, but here's the thing. The Schlieffen's got Hydro that could easily reach out and spot whatever might come around an island, so... Oh well. There's no need to correct the enemy when they make mistakes, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they hid and got out-traded, exactly. Let's go watch your engagement here, up close and personal. Here's the part where you probably wish you had Hydro instead of radar.
Yeah, I was worried about the Schlieffen going for the dropping torps at me, and I was trying to break the torps.
Yep, I see that.
Fortunately, the Shikishima from across the map saves me.
Yep, he broke the ship instead. And that's the beauty of small maps and big guns, what we saw kind of all day today with the Clash of the Classes tournament. Now, there's absolutely no need for you to come out here. I would literally stop, beach the island or whatever.
I was gonna get around Beach the Island, try to get to proxy the Neski, but the Kleber spots his nose, which lets him get lit, and that's why I realized he's broadside. So I wanted to loop around, beach, and just get my front guns out and consider that one. I did take a torpedo. I did kill him.
Very risky decision there. Another torpedo, you'd be gone.
Yeah, I took a gamble there.
And I would say it's probably a gamble you didn't need to take. I think you're better off playing it safe at that point. And, because the thing about...
It was also at this moment, I thought my team might need to push. The A flank needed to push because the C flank on the enemy team was pushing back our B flank.
Sure.
And yeah, it said calculated risk.
Very calculated. Because the thing is, let's play worst case scenario for a sec. You die to those torpedoes. He had already radared, so the Kleber's probably safe. So, yeah, okay, fine. If he hadn't radared, maybe that'd be a different story. Either way, you're right. Your flank on the other side is falling, but you've got a broadside Moskva. Hey.
I noticed it. I was trying to use the mini map to like line up the circle.
Yep, very smart. I'm concerned about your Kleber.
He actually lives.
Is he... I'm guessing that means that the Moskva is using radar.
No, he opened up on the Moskva. I don't know why he did.
Okay.
I think it's after he tries running away that he uses radar.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, the reason why I'm bringing that up is because now you're in his radar range. He knows it's you that's shooting him. He should know it's you shooting him anyway because of the, incoming shells and patterns, all that, but... And he's shooting HE at you. What a gift.
Yep. He could have easily killed me.
Well... Yeah.
Well, this point not anymore. Yeah, the Shiki comes in from there, finally shoots me. I didn't know where the Shiki was at because he was last spotted going up the 9 line.
Well, now,
there.
I had mentioned this before. When you are playing a competitive environment and somebody dies, what you should do is have somebody spectate. So, you should have had somebody invoice just over there, right? Looking at the Petro and Shiki area and just calling out shells coming out, calling out what part of the mini map, like what grid square they're coming from, etc., etc.
Muscle decides to push out. I have no idea why.
He wanted to die. It was his time. I don't know what else to say. He probably got greedy thinking, okay, well, I need to get this kill. And I guess he's kind of right? Because they are...
Down on points.
Down on points and down on ships.
And this is where I stay for the little time the game has left.
Very smart decision not to come straight out in front of the Shiki.
Yeah, no, I regardless of if he was spotted there or not, I was going to stay here because I have an island between the two ships' last known positions.
So, fortunately, the Petro already used his radar, so now you don't have to worry about him knowing exactly where you're at.
But he does close in and use his Hydro in a few moments.
Sure, and that's the smart thing to do. And I like how you're looking for the opportunity to shoot over the island here. Most importantly, the Shiki isn't aiming at you.
It was aiming at the Kleber, who opened up a shot once to try to get their attention.
Yeah, which is smart.
But then doesn't work after the Shiki decides to look at me. But I do get fortunate here.
I like how
Even,
you're diving the island here. Wow.
and then the Montana got a good salvo into the Shiki, which let me finish it off.
Yeah, I'm surprised that you didn't like W harder into the island. Like you just kind of went in and, you know, did the thing.
I'm just scared of islands because I have a bad track record of perma beaching on islands.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
I just avoid trying to like nose straight into an island since then.
Fair enough. Hey, Fem, how's it going? Thank you for the raid. Good to see you. Welcome, all raiders.
Feminally rated my stream with 87 viewers.
How was your stream, Fem? Stevie's back too, just in time.
And also, add into the comment, you said that we usually have someone spectate the squares.
Yeah.
We usually do have someone, and that person is Frosty, but he wasn't Frosty / Steelgear, but he wasn't here for this clan battle.
He said he was getting food or whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The only other feedback I would give to you is more, I mean, in terms of team setup and stuff, your Yu Yang is playing way too aggressively, especially now with this hit point so low.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't realize he was pushing straight into them. I did not realize he was doing that at all.
It's a common mistake that a lot of, I guess you could say, less experienced players make. When they're low on health, they push instinctively, and I don't know why that happens, but that's what they do. Kleber not being so useful early on. Well, he did go to A, got radared, ran back. I don't know. I think it makes sense. I think his Kleber was.
The Kleber is more to be like kind of like an attention slave whenever it's needed.
Yeah.
I don't know how to word it properly.
Right. Thank you, Puddin. I was going to get to it in a little bit. For those of you guys that are from Fem's Raid, I'm a Lord Zath, the North American community contributor. We are doing replay analysis for about another 50 minutes, 5-0. So this is a clan battle we're taking a look at. He wasn't having a good day. That happens.
You know, there was a few risks in this match that I took.
Yep. Rotating Kleber mid would have been better. It certainly gives the flexibility of he could have gone back, especially when your flank was collapsing. But by that point, he was already so committed south. And you're welcome, Hispanic. Thank you for coming and hanging out. Oh, you're saying thanks for the stream, Fem. Yeah, well, I mean, Fem's an awesome person. I really enjoyed hanging out with her. I hope that I'll get to hang out with her at some point in the future, especially now that she's not with Wargaming anymore. That could be a lot of fun. She was a former Wargaming employee and a former community contributor before that. If you aren't following her, do me a favor and do it now. I'm going to go ahead and shout her out again just because she's that awesome. Anything else that you want to bring up? I think we pretty much covered everything.
Not that I can think of, really, no.
Okay.
Other than the Kleber did mention straight from the get-go, like once he joined the division, is there more of a... I'm more of a newer person to this clan, so I'm still not familiar with what everyone does or what they're good at. The Kleber stated he is more of a late game person than a early start of the game person,
and that's fine. I mean, you don't want your Kleber dying early, right? So with all that radar, I think it makes sense to play it safe. Here's the part where he could have rotated back, but he didn't. He stayed on his flank. Okay. And yes, you did take excess damage. Yep, at the beginning.
Here's the part where I get beat.
Well, and again, that goes back to the comments I'd made. You were radared. They knew you were going there, and you went there anyways. So, like, you gave the enemy ample time to set up for the kill. Unfortunately, they didn't. They weren't able to connect. And
And
yes, good point, SAT. Hiding behind with the Kleber, not a good idea, because they could focus on you instead.
I ended up taking, I think, 102,000 damage this game.
I can see it. I can totally see it. Yeah. There's the Montana being chased. I mean, this replay had a lot of valuable moments, I'd say.
A lot of just I don't know what's going on anymore.
Right?
And the thing is, this is just personally me, and it's
Mm-hmm.
probably not a good mindset for competitive.
Mm-hmm.
I sometimes don't think like my brain just goes into autopilot when when it comes to games.
Sure.
It, so most of the time, I'm not even thinking about what I'm doing. I just realize after, it's like, oh, I just did that.
It's difficult to separate sometimes the random battle and even co-op if you're a co-op main, that the kind of habits you pick up there versus in clan battle, it's very different. Um, and that's a good point too, SAT. And looking back at the Shikishima, there was no reason for him to push like he did. If anything, turn out and kite away or reverse would have been better than pushing. Cool. Well, thanks for sending that one in and using Cover My Replay. I think that was a very valuable use of channel points.